Today is World Read Aloud Day. I will be reading from the ABCs of America's Railroads, written and illustrated by Andy Fletcher. The ABCs of America's Railroads. This Alaska engine is arriving in Anchorage. The Alaska engine has a lot of A's. How many A's can you see? This Amtrak engine takes people across America. From Atlanta to Arizona, Amtrak takes people where they want to go. This Bangor and Aroostook engine brings boxes of books to Bangor. This BC Rail engine hauls boards from British Columbia to build boats, barns, and other buildings. This Burlington Northern engine hauls barley from Bismarck and boxcars from Billings. The colorful yellow ribbon on this Conrail engine stands for the courage of those who served our country. This CP Rail engine crosses the continent from coast to coast in the country of Canada. This CSX engine carries cargo from the Carolinas to Chattanooga. This CNIM engine carries coal to customers around Chicago. This Chicago and Northwestern engine hauls coal and commodities to companies in Chicago. This Chicago Central engine connects Chicago with Council Bluffs. This DM&E engine makes trips to the dairy so you can have milk to drink with your dinner. This DW&P engine is dispatched to deliver dozens of carloads daily. This engine is an example of Electromotive's new equipment. Electromotive builds engines for everybody. This Farm Rail engine carries fertilizer to the fields to help the farmers grow our food. This Ferrocarriles Nacionales de Mexico engine has a fancy paint scheme. Ferrocarriles Nacionales de Mexico is Spanish for National Railways of Mexico. This Florida East Coast engine hauls fast freight from Fort Lauderdale. This Gateway Western engine helps gather the grain that grows on the Great Plains. This Grand Trunk Western engine just got the green light to go to Grand Rapids. The big G on this engine means Guilford. This engine hauls all kinds of goods and general merchandise from Boston to Maine. This engine belongs to Helm Leasing. This engine is used by all the railroads when they need a little help hauling the trains that are too heavy. This engine hustles freight for the harbor belt. Its job is to hook the railroads in the east with those in the west. This Illinois Central engine hauls iron and coal to the industries in Illinois and Indiana. This Indiana Railroad engine pulls important products into Indianapolis. This Iowa Interstate engine hauls corn from Iowa to Illinois. The J on this engine stands for Joliet, Illinois. This engine's job is to join the industries around Chicago. This Kansas City Southern engine hauls coal to the power plants in order to make the power we need to keep our kitchens cooking. This Kyle engine can be seen crossing Kansas. This LMX engine runs from Lincoln to Laurel. It is on lease to the Burlington Northern. This LNW engine leads local trains in Louisiana. This McCloud River engine moves lumber from the mills in the mountains. This Meridian and Bigby engine hauls many materials to make paper in Mississippi. This Mid-South engine hauls machines and merchandise between Monroe and Meridian. This Norfolk Southern engine pulls trains from New Orleans to North Carolina. There are a lot of letters on this engine. Can you find the O's? These two engines are painted with a symbol for Operation Red Block, a reminder for crews to be sober while on the job. This P&LE engine uses its power to pull pipe in Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania. The Q on this engine stands for Conrail's Quest for Quality. This Montana Rail Link engine rides the rails along the rivers in Montana. This RF&P engine runs on the right-of-way in Richmond. When its load arrives, it is ready to roll. This Rio Grande engine runs through the Rocky Mountains en route to Salt Lake City. This Santa Fe engine is silver and shiny. It is one of the super fleet because it is speedy and sleek. This Santa Fe engine serves towns in the Southwest with stops in San Diego and San Bernardino. This Soo Line engine is traveling south from St. Paul with a shipment of grain from Saskatchewan. This Southern Pacific engine sees service in Sacramento, San Francisco, St. Louis, and San Antonio. This Southern Pacific engine runs on special trips to show people how steam engines work. This Susquehanna engine has stripes along its sides. It stays on schedule from Syracuse to the sea. This Texas-Mexican engine transfers trailers and freight from Texas to Mexico. This helps us trade with our southern neighbors. This Tuscola and Saginaw Bay engine is due in at 12 and will be on time. This TC&W engine is taking its trains to the terminal. This Union Pacific engine hauls freight across the United States. Union Pacific helped unite this country by building the first transcontinental mainline from Omaha to Utah. This Union Pacific engine was painted in honor of those who served for the United States. It looks like the uniform of a soldier. This VMV engine has a bright paint scheme with a variety of colors. It visits many railroads so it can be viewed by everyone. This Washington Central engine hauls wheat to customers in western Washington. This Wheeling and Lake Erie engine winds its way through the woods. This engine hauls trains for Wisconsin Central. Its wheels turn to keep Wisconsin working. Can you find the X on this engine? X is a letter that stands for railroad crossings. This Norfolk Southern engine is painted to remind you to cross tracks safely. This Yadkin Valley engine yields to a passing freight as it leaves the yard. This engine zooms zesty grains to the chickens at Zaki Farms. I hope you enjoyed the ABCs of America's Railroads. It is a book about all the trains in America that I wrote over 20 years ago.